Guys, welcome back to the Merry Boozers RC channel. Today we have a PNP balsa airplane. It's been a long time coming, but Horizon Hobby has finally brought us a plug-and-play balsa airplane. There are ways of making this a bind and fly, which I plan on showing you with the AR637T and the 8-channel version of that receiver. They do offer downloadable profiles for both receivers now, to where you can make this airplane a bind and fly technically, but you have to buy your own receiver for this one. Any way around it you want to go. Super excited, man. I've had an Ultra Stick before in the past, ugly sticks. Everybody, it's a rite of passage to have a stick if you're going to be doing balsa airplanes. So for the price, to have one that puts together as easy as this one does, I've seen the videos of it. It's going to be amazing, guys. So this is going to be one you want to check out. But without me waffling too much today, let's get down on the bench. Let me get this thing out of the box and show you around it. Okay guys, so I had already put the whole tail together at this point, but I found out that it would be a lot easier to do this from the beginning with the tail apart. So to start the assembly, what we want to do is put these little parts right here on. They are the ball links for the airplane. They come pre-installed on the tail in the links. Go on and pop those out. And let's put those on before we start assembling the tail at all. So what I'm going to do is take a 5/64 drill bit, and I'm going to pass this through here just because it's too tight right now to get it in there otherwise. Just like that. And now I can put my link on. Maybe. I might have got that tail too tight. Nope, there it goes. So let's grab our 2mm, I believe. Nope. So it's funny, all of my E-flite airplanes always use a 2mm if you've ever put any of these together. The Hangar 9 ones so far are using 1.5 screwdrivers, so funny enough, a little different. So that goes in there like that. And you can see that with the tail setting right here, it'd block you from putting this nut on very easily. So anyway, that is why I would tell you to do this here and now before putting the tail together. So now I can take and just tighten that down like so. These are lock nuts, so anyway, but that was a whole lot easier doing it now than doing it with the tail put together. So what we need to do now is grab our rudder and do the exact same thing with it. So the rudder, I believe, faces upwards. Yes. So same thing, we're gonna take that 5/64 drill bit and just clean that hole out a little bit. Like so. We're going to grab our other ball link. I haven't taken this one apart yet. And like I said, the ball links are going to come installed in the back of the airplane. You're going to have to take them off for this part. Everybody be all super thankful for Miss Lori over there running the camera, because I'm sure I'm all over the shot right now. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do that same thing now. Put our ball link in. Screw that in there. If you do that 5/64 one, it's just tight enough to where the screw will go in, but you'll have to screw it in. So it's going to be nice and tight, and that's what we want. We want these things tight. Same thing. Grasp a hold of it with the whatever wrench you want to use. I just keep these crescent wrenches around because they're nice and easy. Ladies wrench, however you want to call it. Tighten that up. like so. So like I said, it's a lot easier if you start off this step by doing that. Now, I had some issues with this part too, so I'm going to go on and show you. The first step in this manual is to loosen this off. Once again, it's a 1.5 on here, and then it's to slide it down over that. Now the problem is this comes out of the box bent like this. And on my model at least, maybe yours is different, I could not slide that past there. So what I had to do was grab a pair of grippers, grab on right here, and bend this up. And now I don't need to do it again because I just did it, but I'm just showing you what I did. And then I was able to get that little collet to slide past, releasing this. And the reason you have to do that is when you put the tail on, this piece hits the tail part that goes in here. And I'll show you that here in just a second. So let me get reset, guys, and we will show you putting the tail on. All right, guys, so the next step in our process is to get our elevator and our rudder put on. So like I said, you've got to get this collet here loose to where it'll come around that corner. Now the reason for that is as you go to put your rudder on, if this is down here, you can see that it hits all over here. So you got to be able to pull that up to get it out of your way. Now, like I said, I bent mine. That's up to you if you need to or not. But as you see, that just slides right around that corner now, just like that. Now you can take this. Oops, sorry, I got to put the elevator on first. Take your elevator, slide it on, like so. Now, on mine, and yours may be different, the bar right here is very tight. And you've got to kind of get it around it, and then it clips right into that hole, like that. Now, the first time I did that, it didn't do it very easily. So, just a little FYI on some of this, guys. This is BALSA. You got to do a little fiddle in here. Drop that over there. So, Laura, you seeing everything I've done so far? Mm-hmm. Put that down. Now, I always keep my little Ernst tray with all my parts in it here. This really comes in handy, especially right now where I'm not having to look for parts. I was able to lay everything out where it's easy to find. But for this part, you need this little, it's kind of an aggressive thread. It's the only one in here like this. It's a number 2 Phillips screw. This goes in this back hole right in front of your steerable tail wheel. So it just goes right into that wood spot. It's covered over, but there is a hole there, so you do not need to pre-drill that. Take your 1.5 and put that in there and tighten it up. Now, I could bend this back down flat. There's really not a lot of reason to do that, so I'm going to probably just leave it straight like it is for now. You also get this little washer. Now, the kit has 4 washers total. There's 3 bigger ones. Those are for the wheels. Then there's this one little one. This one goes right here. This doesn't need a washer because you've already got this metal plate here. And then you're going to take these 2, what do you call them? 2 lock nuts and screw those on to both sides. Now, if you have a socket set, that would make this a lot easier to have a deep socket set, but I don't have one around right now, so what we're going to use is my crescent wrench. Everybody in the comment section right now can start screaming that I'm not using this correctly, but sometimes you just got to get it done. And this is called getting it done right here. So a socket set would be much easier, and the reason I'm not laying it over and using it as a correct wrench is because it won't fit around the table. So anyway, sometimes do what you got to do, guys. Good news is, also, is now this easy to put together. The other way, we put it on this way, because I'm going to do it. Okay, when I get this one, actually, I turn this one like this. I know this is kind of fiddly. I'm going to hush now, so I can fast forward. All right, so I've got them both down. Now I'm going to look down the side of the fuselage and make sure I don't over tighten anything as I tighten this up. We want to get it tight but don't be really pushing on this. They're lock nuts, so they're not going to come loose. I want to make sure that everything's touching, but I don't want to overdo it either. So this is where you want to use a little wrench. Don't be using nothing 7-foot cheater bar on this or nothing. Just something small that you can get a good feel for to where you can get this tight. You know, I'm just running it right here until it tightens up. Like so. Good and tight. So let me flip it over and we can take a look at our work. So at this point, if I move my bars out of the way, I've got full travel with nothing hitting. Same thing here, I'm gonna pick this up. I've got nice elevator travel, nothing hitting, nothing pinching right now. And I have those ball links all hitting where they're supposed to. Now we're gonna leave the ball links off for now until we get completely done and put our receiver in, power everything up. That way we can make sure our servos are centered before putting these on. If they're not centered for some reason and you turn them on the first time, it could go to full extension and bind out and strip your servo. So I always leave these off until I have had a chance to fire the model up. So next we're gonna get the wheels put on and then we'll go to the next thing. All right guys, so elevator's on. Now we're gonna be putting our wheels on the airplane. You're gonna be using these big black screws. I don't know what else to call them. I'm sure they tell you in the manual of what they actually are. M420 socket head cap screws. There you go. And you're going to take one of these silver washers and put them on there. So the other thing you need, if you have any, is some Loctite. You don't need a ton on here, but go on and take and put a drop of Loctite in there. And we're going to put these up here. Get it started. There we go, and we're gonna do that 3 times. Don't tighten them all the way down until you got everything kind of how you need it. Another drop of Loctite. There we go. And then you're gonna take a number 3 Allen key. So that's one of the few that you don't get in the E-flite screwdriver, but anyway, number 3 Allen key, spin those down tight. And Loctite should do its job over time of keeping these from backing out. Now be careful not to over tighten this. You can over torque them and break the wood, and you would not want to do that. So, albeit this is hardwood that the landing gear are mounted into. There you go. That's as easy as mounting the landing gear is. All right, now that we've got the landing gear put on, our next step is to start putting our wings together. I'm going to go on and leave everything taped to the bottoms until we're ready to actually put the wing on. This is just for this first initial put together. You see they've taped everything up. Just makes it a little easier. Now all your ball links and clevises are done for you out of the box, so that's sweet. Put your wing tube in till it bottoms out, just like that. Same thing, we're going to slide this in now. There is a little nipple right here in the middle that you line up and push them home. There you go, that gets our wing halves put together. I know that was simple, but that's all there is to it. All right guys, so we have our Ultra Stick here sitting on the table. I've gone on ahead and plugged up our receiver according to the link down in the description of this video. If you go down in the description, I have linked the Ultra Stick PNP manual. Now they only make this airplane as a PNP. You have to get a plug and play. But if you wanted to get it to where it's bind and fly, they have a receiver profile now, and with the use of this programming cable, which will also be linked down in the description, you can put an AR637T, or if you have a TA, you can always factory reset it first. Or if you want more of a crazy airplane, this one's just going to have standard flaps and ailerons. But if you do the AR 8360T 8-channel receiver, you can get the programming cable, follow the video, which Lori's going to put right up here right now. We did a video just on programming this receiver for this airplane. Now, Spectrum has a lot of different profiles coming out right now for their plug-and-play BALSA models or any kind of plug-and-play only kit, to where you're going to be able to download this profile, or say you bought a plug-and-play air tractor and you really wish you would have got the bind and fly, you can always buy the receiver now, download that profile, put it on the receiver, and have the same thing as a bind and fly later down the road. Now, what I'm going to show you, we've got it all loaded up with our transmitter file. Like I said, if you want to learn how to do that, that video is linked everywhere. But what we're going to show you now is we've done our transmitter file. I've already put on all of my extension leads per the instructions that are linked down in the description. Like I said, this isn't in the actual Ultra Stick manual, but there is an addendum for it if you're doing it this way. I labeled all of mine with a piece of blue tape, and you can see, like, I put RF on this one for right flap, LF for left flap, RA, right aileron. So all 4 of the wing servos get their own individual connector. Now, I've picked out a spot in the airplane that I'm going to mount this receiver, as you can see, where it's going to be nice and clean. Get all them wires. What I use to mount mine, good old-fashioned caulking. Now, to each his own. You can use hot glue, you can use double-sided sticky, whatever you're going to use, you just need to make sure this receiver cannot move when it's in flight. If this receiver moves, the airplane crashes if you have AS3X and safe on. So, what I've been doing for a while now is using this bathroom flooring caulk. It works absolutely fantastic. I take my receiver, a little bit of sandpaper, I hit the bottom of it just to give it something good to stick to. We might as well even hit the wood a little bit here where we're going to stick it down. And I take and give it a nice little generous amount of this caulking. And that'll hold the world when we squish that down. Take my receiver, put it where I want it, squish it in there, just like so. Remember, you want your ports always going perpendicular, or this way, or straight up and down. You can mount that receiver this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Anything you want, it just can't be at an angle. So you can't mount it in there at an angle. You know, it has to be straight with the length of the airplane, or up and down straight. It has to be straight, not at an angle. So as you can see, that's how I mounted mine. If you're doing this same airplane, there it is. And that's it. That is the receiver install of this airplane. Now, we're going to let this fully dry. I'm going to let, you know, depends on what you're using. This stuff takes about a day to get dry, but I'm going to let this set up, get dry, and then all we need to do is finish plugging in our wings, put that on, and prop, and we're almost done with this airplane. So I'll meet y'all back after this has a chance to dry. All right, guys, so the next step we're going to do in this process is we've got our receiver installed. We labeled all of our connections, but now we need to label all the wing connections. So the wing comes pre-taped on all the ailerons and everything to make sure that they don't move in transport. Make sure you take these off, otherwise when we do this next part, you could have an issue. So I'm going to pull these all off real quick. Slide this on the screen. Now, our wing connectors come pre-taped down, but not labeled. So being that these are all going to be connected into their own individual servo ports, we need a way to know when we plug everything in where it all goes. So guys that have a smart checker, I'm going to show you a nifty little trick with this. If we plug it in and it comes on, you can see my battery's dead, doesn't matter. We just need to tap this middle button one time. And I can't read it right now, but let's see. We're going to go down to servo test. These are digital servos, so you're going to want it on that 1500 setting. Click enter. It'll bring up our servo tester menu. Now, the way we can look at the wing, since they're not labeled, and figure this out now, is we just need to plug them in. Yellow wire goes towards the S on your servo checker. I heard this one actually come on. I don't even need to push it, but if you wanted to, you can just hit the button and you can see the aileron deflects back to neutral, all the way the other way. Hit it again, there's your neutral centered position for the servo. It's actually off a little bit, so I could adjust this now that I have it set up. So now we know that this wire is our, always from the pilot's perspective, so look at it from the back. It is our brain left wing. There we go. So this is going to be LA, left aileron. So we can take a little piece of tape. And do this as you wish. If you want to get fancy and get a label maker, you can, but this good old blue tape method has been working for years in model aviation. So we're going to go on and mark this as left aileron, LA. That makes this left flap. I don't even need to plug it in. So if you want to, just to keep any confusion down, we can go on and make an LF also. LF. We're going to do the same thing on this side. All right, we'll meet you back in just a second after I get the rest of these labeled when we're putting the wing on the airplane. All right, guys, at this point of the assembly process, if you have not done it already, go back and watch our bind and fly tutorial on how to set this up if you're going to do this as the bind and fly. If you're adding your own receiver at this point, you're going to do the same as I've been doing, but you're going to bind it before you put the wing on. Now, I have already gone on and put the wing on because I didn't want to show you me fumbling that, but I labeled all of my controls going up to the wing, as you saw, with some blue painter's tape. LF for left flap, RF for right flap. After I got all done, you just simply plug yellow to yellow, black to black, and plug all 4 of your wires in. If you're going to do a 6-channel setup, you're going to need to do a Y harness for your ailerons. You're going to need to run one of your flaps into aux1 and one of your flaps into gear and run a flap system as a 1 aileron 2 flap setup. Anyway, it's all in the manual if you need to know how to do any of this. At this point, like I said, I have screwed the wing down. I've plugged all my connections in. We have our pre-downloaded setup file. What we need to do now is turn it on and test it, and we're going to go through forward programming over in that video. If you need to see that part, make sure you watch that. If not, we're going to just go on and move to the next step and assume that you have made sure all of your control surfaces are now working correctly in this model. So, on to the next step. All right, guys, so at this point, you've got your Ultra Stick's wing on, you've got everything hooked up and working correctly. At this point, we are ready to fire up the model. If you haven't already gone on ahead, check out our video where we did go in and download the model profile to our airplane, or to our NX radio. We also have already gone on ahead and downloaded the receiver profile for this airplane. So it's as simple as binding this controller to the airplane to get this exact setup we're about to have. I did not have to set up this radio. So At this point, we're going to power up the model. It's going to do its 2 cycles, telling us we're in safe select mode, just like any other E-flite airplane you've ever had. Now, we'll go over some of the functions that you're going to have in the Ultra Stick if you follow the PNP setup as we have. So right now, it's in normal everything. All switches, go up and away. There we go. So if we flip all our switches up and away from us, we are in normal airplane mode. We have ailerons, an elevator, and rudder. Now, the cool thing is, this is all pre-programmed, like I said. If you aren't doing the pre-programmed, you're going to have to set this up yourself. But you have flaps just like normal on the D switch. As you can see, 1 position and 2 positions, all the way back up. Then you also have over here on the F switch, when you flip that, it puts in the spoiler. So when you pull up elevator, the flaps come down at the same time. As you can see right now, the elevator goes up, the flaps go down. If we put that switch back up, you can see just the elevator moves. We also have the gear switch up here, which activates your wing types. So if you flip your gear switch up, you can leave it up all the time if you want. Now your flap switch changes. So in the top position, normal airplane mode, we have ailerons just like normal and elevator like normal. If we put the switch down 1 position, now we have full span ailerons. Same on the elevator, stays the same. Final position, when we flip it down 1 more time, we get crow. Ailerons go up, flaps come down, and now as you go left and right, you can see the ailerons still move, and the elevator works on its own. Switch all the way back up to neutral. We also have throttle cut on H switch, so we can flip our throttle cut, and the throttle cuts. Your top B switch is now your safe select switch. So I think currently I have it on safe. Yep, as I pick up the airplane, the ailerons start to correct. So the switch in position 0 is going to be safe. The middle position is going to be AS3X only, which we can test by picking it up, wiggling it, and I can see the ailerons moving. And then the switch all the way up in position 2 on your B switch is AS3X off completely. And it's all off now. So that's no gyro mode. So just like that, we have set up one of the most advanced wing type airplanes you can set up. And we didn't actually have to go into the transmitter and change the settings, which is awesome. It's all pre-programmed for you. So at this point, what we're going to do, I'm going to power down the model, put the propeller on, and we are ready to go fly this. I always recommend you leave the propeller off until you are completely satisfied with your transmitter setup. The only thing I could still add to this is reverse. If you want to learn about that, Horizon has a great video on it. You just need to go into your Aviana ESC menu and select the reversing options. We will link that down in the description for you so you can find it. And that's it, guys. The Ultra Stick is a super easy airplane to put together. I've been very happy with it. If you are interested in getting one of these beautiful models, let me unplug it real quick. You can get one from the link down in the description below. I hope that Hangar 9 continues to make these airplanes, these super easy to put together BALSA airplanes. It's amazing to me from where we've come in the hobby till now. You saw it, guys. I mean, this was a super easy BALSA airplane to put together, and I'm just blown away. So I hope to see more of these come from Hangar 9. We're going to be getting it out to the field and flying it hopefully tomorrow. So we'll hopefully get some more videos up for you anytime now on it, and you'll get to see this thing in all of its glory, as Papa always says for you. But yeah, the Ultra Stick is fantastic, guys. If you need that other video, we have that link down in the description for setting up your receiver and your radio setup. And we're going to see you guys in the next video. So keep on watching, and we'll see you there. Bye.